Now, organization. All right, here's three people with different characteristics. This one has big feet. How beautiful are the feet of those who take the gospel. Okay, that represents evangelism. There's a big hand. So he's a servant, okay? He's the one that serves people. This has a big head. He's got wisdom, okay, etc. But they're in one group. Well, we have different people representing different ministries united in one group, as opposed to the more institutional approach. That's an organizational diagram. We're talking about organization, where people with the same gifts are in departments. You have the gift of teaching, you get our Christian Ed department. Go give me a report every month. You're mission freaks. You put together a mission program, and okay. Oh, you're a pastor. You start some small group now. And compassion. Find some homeless person. Yes. Okay, but separate compartments. Isolated, separate, segregating rather than integrating the gifts. No, we need both, because there are projects and needs that do require specialization. However, like all of the rest, in a people movement, we really need to shift this way a lot more than most missionaries are capable of doing. And that's when you gather people with different gifts in the same group. Now, we run against something here, but this is real, again, one of these things that's being put on TC. A group that is small, to have the family atmosphere and do the one another dynamics, is too small to have all the gifts to do everything that the New Testament requires of a church. Therefore, now hear me, not to stand on the chair and blow a trumpet. The one another dynamic, the reciprocal, mutual helping that the Bible teaches over and over and over and over, is just as important between groups and between your rabbit churches as it is within them. If you're going to sustain rapid church multiplication, you've got to have a lot of interaction between the groups. One group is weak on evangelism, another is strong. What do? Interact. Relate. Help each other.
Can you give an example of that?
Yeah, in Honduras, I did not have this mentality. It was a Honduran that taught it to me. We had a real problem in one area of wolves coming and dividing the church to doctrinal issues, okay? Now, I won't get into the details. Just, okay. Now, I saw it as a doctrinal matter. They needed teaching. So I would go in and teach. It didn't help. Didn't help at all. But the Honduran man that took over my place when he nationalized it, he was a little wiser than I was. And he said, no, it's too much teaching is what created the problem and opened the door for the wolves.
Too much teaching?
Too much teaching. They were being drowned in the Word of God. They were lacking in other ministries that are also vital and required by the New Testament. He saw it. I did. I just want to go and add more teaching. No. He said what they need are people with the gifts of mercy, people who are compassionate. So he arranged for a couple to go from another church and just start attending and just love the people and demonstrate that aspect and doing just loving, compassionate activities for people in need and so forth, and solve the problem. Well, I can give you many examples, but any missional group or house church or rabbit church or any small group like that, cell group, is really viable. They are going to be too small to do the things that God requires of the church. And so, therefore, it's necessary for them to relate very closely with the other groups, especially other small groups, just as they did in the New Testament. Yeah.
So did that couple that he brought over to the church to do mercy, did they just acted out mercy with them? They did mercy missions together?
I don't know the details. I wasn't there. I didn't see it.
I didn't know.
just gave me a report on what was going on. I wasn't there, and they're only there for 2 or 3 months, but it solved the problem. And when I got the idea, see, my answer was on an intellectual level. That was, okay, but it was the Honduran one. He saw the real need was mixing up a gift or a ministry that group lacked. And it was a new young church. Point being was that all new churches were going to have some vacant areas. And we need to really step up the interaction between groups. Now, in the New Testament, very few Westerners realize this. There was no church building mentioned in church history until almost 3 centuries after Christ. So the church, singular, of Jerusalem was what? It was a cluster of house churches. The word church used in the singular. Where did they break bread? In the homes. And we know from several passages in Acts they were meeting in homes. Yes, they also met, it says, in the temple, however, not in the temple itself. Only priests could go there. They're out in the outer court, which is kind of like, you know, a square where everybody gets to get and talk, and so forth. You know, it isn't much people. There weren't benches out there to sit on someone preaching. That was not what they did then. Okay.